guys. So I just had a couple of coffee with my wife and my girls. I didn't have anything scheduled for today as far as shooting. I have a couple of edits to get to when I get back home. So I decided to enjoy the morning with my family, have some coffee, some snacks, and just hang out here at the Pearl, which is one of our favorite spots here in San Antonio. Now this video, I want to be vulnerable, open. I want to be transparent with everything. Like I said, I want to share my highs and my lows. Again, this week is a little dry as far as client work goes. There's nothing set up as of right now until next week, which is a plus, and it's really great. I wanted to get transparent, and I wanted to make this 3-part video. Well, I want to separate this video into 3 parts, not 3 separate videos. I want to talk to you guys and give you context of who I am, what I did, what I'm doing, and what I hope to achieve when we move out of San Antonio. So to give you a bit of context, I picked up my first camera in 2015. It was a point and shoot camera. I got it in Colorado when my wife and I were traveling. I had no knowledge of photography about ISO, shutter speed, white balance, none of that. It was just more the love of storytelling and capturing the memories and just showcasing them as we went. So I got myself a point and shoot camera. It was a Canon. I've been a Canon shooter ever since then. Never touched any other camera besides Canon. And in 2018, I was very heavy into watching Casey Neistat and his vlogs, and the storytelling was just amazing. That my wife gifted me a Canon 80D for, I believe, Christmas. And that's when I was trying to figure out how to make it my full-time career and make essentially a living with my gear, not knowing exactly how and what to do. All I knew was that I wanted to make a living with my gear. So back in 2016, we did live out here in San Antonio. To 2018, we moved back to California and still trying to figure out how do I make this jump, how do I make this transition on making a career with my camera. Back in 2021, I believe, is when a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine now, at the time, I didn't know who he was. He had just, I think I followed him on Instagram, and I don't even know how I came across him. But I started following him. He had posted on his stories that he was looking for a photographer. He was willing to train on the real estate side. So I saw that and I immediately sent him a DM. I think I emailed him as well. At this time, I hadn't really gained knowledge about photography and all the settings and all that stuff. I just didn't know how to, photograph real estate. So he agreed. I quit my job. I left my job, which was a potential job to be a 6-figure, income a year type of position, which was a plumber. I was an apprentice at the time, but I was slowly working, well, not slowly, I was really exceeding, my milestones as a plumber, as an apprentice plumber, to become a full plumber. I left that to join my buddy's real estate company. I was just so excited and ready to go. And I was all in from sun up to sundown. It was all about real estate. I gained so much knowledge and I'm forever grateful for that. My wife and I talked. We decided to move out here. We sold our house in California to move out here. The way I got over here with a position was as soon as we made that decision about moving over here, I jumped on Indeed. I applied for jobs, and luckily for me, there was a brokerage out here looking for an in-house photographer, videographer. So I applied. A couple of days later, I had an interview. I got interviewed, and they liked me. So I moved out here first, and then my family a couple months later. And I was here as an in-house photographer, videographer for a real estate brokerage. And it was great. I enjoyed it. Everybody was telling me that I was being undervalued and underpaid, but I was just happy where I was at. I was enjoying the moment. Back in California, the grind was from sun up to sundown. So this was like a great break for me as far as the real estate side goes. I enjoyed real estate. I enjoy it a lot, but I want to break out of real estate little by little and do more than just real estate. I do enjoy it, but I want to do other stuff too. So that was a great break for me. Although I didn't pursue nothing at the time. Again, that was due to me lacking confidence coming from California. I didn't have the confidence that I have now, which is night and day. And I do want you guys to keep that in mind. It's the confidence that I'm going to be talking about in this video. So in California, before making the move, I was with my buddy's company. We scaled that company to $250,000. The grind was from sun up to sundown. We had a blast. We were learning together. We were growing together. And he's still a really good friend of mine. We still speak every week. We talk on Instagram every other day. So really grateful for him. Bobby, shout out to you, brother. And he's just crushing it. But I didn't have the confidence at the time to think that I was good enough or to do more than I was already doing. Moving out here is one thing that I really gained was my confidence and the abilities to not have that imposter syndrome that was weighing me down and holding me back. So part 2 is pretty much what I learned, how I gained my confidence, And why don't we not like it out here? I'm reading my notes. So being in-house, I wasn't worried about getting the next client. I solely focused on the team and on the brokerage. I wasn't looking out, to get booked elsewhere. It was more so just with them. And I think that's where my confidence really came from, just working with that team and knowing that I can help them with their social media just by myself, with no other teams or team member, or just being me. It was solely me. I was a one-man team. I was the photographer, the videographer, the editor, social media, everything. It was just me. That to me was more than proof that I can do this on my own. It was great. It was a little nice break from worrying about where's my next check gonna come. It was consistent. It was consistent money that I was getting weekly. I would get approached by other agents and brokerages if I do this on the side, and I would always say no because I wanted to focus on the team. And so I did. And then just going to all these events and just being behind the camera, focusing on the team, capturing those events, I gained so much confidence that I didn't need my camera to contextualize my confidence. Before it was, I'm comfortable when I held my camera on hand, that I could talk to anybody. Now I can talk to anybody regardless if I do or do not have my camera with me. Fast forward, the brokerage wanted to start a media company, and out of excitement, I said yes. I became a partner to this company that we started together. And ultimately, there were some conversations that we did not have in the beginning that were now raising up that I was kind of not okay with, and not to their fault nor mine. It was, I think, everybody's, that we failed to have these conversations in the beginning. And what played a huge role was, ultimately, my wife and I don't love it out here. We don't want to stay out here. And we are truly believers that we need to live somewhere that inspires us, just going outside and being outside. And unfortunately, San Antonio is just not one of those cities for us. We're used to the heat, and I bring up the heat because we're from California, 45 minutes to an hour north of LA, which is Palmdale, the AV. And it does get hot up there. It is a desert, but it's dry heat. Here in San Antonio, you get these muggy, sticky, humid days, plus the heat. So much that you cannot escape it unless you're inside. And we're not indoor people. We like to be outside. We like to go adventure and explore, hike, which we haven't done since we've been out here. And it's, slowly killing us. It was very dampering. And I know some people out there may say, well, you can still go outside. Well, if you love this weather, then more power to you. But we do not love this weather. We don't enjoy it. It's not enjoyable just being outside, and even stepping outside in the front yard or in the backyard. Even our daughters didn't want to step outside. We would go outside and then they just sit there and like, let's go back inside. It's too hot. And like I said, we're believers of being in a location that we truly love and enjoy being. And unfortunately, San Antonio is not it. Texas is not it. So that's why the move to a different state is a decision that we went with. So part 3 of this video is I want to talk to you guys about what I hope happens when we move. And we have a location in mind, which I'll share later in another video. And as of right now, I started my own media company, Owl Nest Visuals, and it's geared towards real estate. I am booking clients. I also want to break out of the real estate and go into the Airbnbs and luxury hotels, or just hotels in general. I also want to get some brand deals, collaborations with hotels. And I don't mind doing this for free. I'm starting from the bottom, and I totally understand that. I do have the knowledge and the skills to get paid, but even just the experiences, building on my portfolio on that aspect, is I'm willing to do it for free. I don't really mind in the beginning, just to get my portfolio started. And I'm learning all this as I go as well, so I'm an open book. Any tips, any advice that you guys have out there, drop them in the comments. All my family has been supportive so far. Some are happy and some are just, well, I guess it is what it is, but we're so stoked for this next chapter. I'm stoked to start my business, my company, and then just put it all in God's hands and see where it takes us, see the journey that's ahead of us. And I also want to share my journey as a full-time creative, a full-time father, and a full-time husband, and finding my rhythm and sharing that with anybody else out there who is a father, who is a husband, and is sometimes battling with being present for your business, for yourself, and for your family. That's another video that I want to talk about a different day, but as of right now, this is it for me. I just wanted to stay here and talk to you guys in this session, in this area of the Pearl. My family's somewhere around here. I need to go find them now, but I'll see you guys in the next one.